welcome to Required Reading. I'm Trisha Hirschberger.
And I'm Steve Zaragoza. On this show, we're going to talk about comic books and graphic novels because we love them.
And because we can.
Here's the thing, the DC and the Marvel universes and Dark Horse and all that stuff, they're so expansive, they're huge. There's no way to pick just one book and be like, boom, let's start there. DC created a comic book series that it kind of follows along with that idea. It's called the Earth 1 series, and it started with Superman, and then the second one was Batman, and so that's what we're doing. We're doing Batman Earth 1.
For those of you who have not read Batman Earth 1, there may be spoilers in here, so I suggest that you pause this video, go read it, and then come back to this video. But for those of you who haven't read it or just need a refresher, this is a new origin story for Batman. It's a completely different Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You think about a Batman origin story, and you're like, there's a million Batman origin stories out there, including movies where they show the origins. But this is actually like a completely different universe Batman. Like, for one, we have Alfred, who's kind of a badass, who's been in some
Total
wars.
badass.
And he actually teaches Batman all of his kung fu moves, which is something that we've never really seen in the series.
Yeah, Alfred's way more than a butler here, kid.
We have Oswald Cobblepot, who's the mayor of Gotham, which is craziness. And we also have Batman related, the Waynes related to the Arkhams, which is really cool.
I love that. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
Yeah, and that's a really cool thing. You're like, whoa, Batman's related to the Arkhams, that's
Mother's
insane.
maiden name, Arkham.
Yeah,
Boo, what you gonna do with that?
So some of the things about Batman in this book is, in the beginning, he's very clumsy. He's falling off of ledges, and his weapon isn't working too well, and he just kind of, and then he just kind of gives up, and he lets the guy get away.
Yeah, he's not the polished fighter we're used to seeing.
Yeah, and especially when Alfred's telling him, I don't think you're ready yet to be Batman. I don't think you're ready to do this. You know, Alfred and Batman actually fight, which was really cool. And Alfred kind of kicks his ass, but then he's kind of like, well, maybe he is ready, because Batman does actually ultimately take him down. That's kind of a cool thing.
I think that that's something that Jeff Johns and Gary Frank do really well when they work together. They're really good at highlighting that kind of subtle emotional side of it. Like, I love that they made the choice to not go with the stereotypical white Batman eyes. You can actually see his eyes, so we get a look into the pain and the fear when he is losing those battles. I think that that makes for a much different overall attitude to the storyline that I really like.
Yeah, and actually Jeff Johns is definitely a veteran in the comic book world. He's done stuff with Teen Titans and Green Lantern, Blackest Night, stuff like that. He actually co-owns the comic book shop I go into on a weekly basis. Some other stuff in the book that I liked was the Commissioner Gordon. He's a Gordon that's kind of like beaten down, and he's done, and he's just kind of like, he's stopped fighting the system a little bit.
He's a pussy Gordon.
Well, I wouldn't say he's a pussy so much. His daughter is really all he has left, so he's very afraid for her. You know, and Gotham is kind of like a scarier place in this universe. It's kind of
Gotham's always a scary
Gotham's
place.
pretty scary, but in this universe, it's almost like, you know, he just kind of lets shit happen. It's very gross. It's very seedy. We have the birthday boy who's like killing little girls. And
well,
stuff,
and that's what I love, for as much as we're saying, like, you know, maybe this is a more realistic take on Batman and Bruce Wayne, that, you know, he's not quite that polished fighter in the beginning. At the same time, we also have the mayor employing a serial killer.
Yeah, well,
on
I mean,
the regular.
it's the
So
Penguin,
there's
and he
still
wouldn't
some
be
fantasy there.
Finally, it leads up to the epic confrontation between Batman and the Penguin, and Batman is stabbed by the Penguin, and it's like this very scary thing, and you think the Penguin's gonna kill him, and bam, in comes Alfred with his shotgun,
with a gun, saving the day,
which is something we don't expect to see in the Batman world. But yeah, and his body splayed on the ground. He was shot with a shotgun, and he fell out a window. So that's kind of like, is he dead? Let's check his pulse.
Pretty sure he's dead.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's dead.
My final thoughts on Batman Earth 1 were that I really enjoyed it. It was a completely new twist on Batman. I mean, I did think that there were some choices made in the storyline that were a bit confusing to me, but it's just the first one. So maybe those things will be explained later, so I don't want to be too critical. I did overall have a great time.
I would say for your hardcore Batman fans, read it. It's a very short read. It is just a self-contained book. You don't have to read back 100 fucking issues to catch up, and you don't really have to know much about the Batman mythos to really get into it, for all of you casual comic book readers. And also for you newcomers that are kind of looking to get into a new Batman story, this is perfect, because it does seem like they're going to continue the series. Jeff Johns is going to write another one. So I'd say if you want to get in on a new Batman series, jump on board with this one. It's a good place to start.
So we also got a chance to go to the Twitter space and see what those of you who've read it, have thought about it. At Rory Goodridge says, brilliant alternate backstory for Batman. The twist on Alfred's character is worth the read on its own.
Oh, check this out. Charlie Levinson on Twitter says, a refreshing retale of his origin stories and is a really good read, but the Superman Earth 1 is better in my opinion. When we were talking to DJ, I was talking to DJ about this earlier, and I was like, I didn't know there was a Superman Earth 1, but DJ says it's not that great.
I've seen a lot of people comparing the Superman Earth 1 and the Batman Earth 1, and I'd say it's pretty mixed on everyone's feelings.
Sean Riaz, who is actually a big SourceFed fan, he draws a lot of us. He's a great artist. He says, won't put it up with the all-time best, but don't hate it. Love Gary Frank's art. Didn't love Alfred. Surprised by the ending. So it seems like everyone's kind of like, Alfred's such a badass, but Sean's kind of like, didn't really like Alfred.
Yeah, there's some people that didn't like it, and I have a feeling that didn't like it comes from that kind of mixed feelings of the no-kill policy. That would be my guess.
All right, guys, well, thank you so much for joining us for this first edition of Required Reading. Next week, we're reading Saga, Volume 1, which is a cross between Game of Thrones and Star Wars. It's awesome, so please read that book. If you have time by next week, send us a tweet letting us know what you thought about the book.
It's gonna be a lot of fun, and now it's time for DJ's Pull List.
DJ, what you got, baby?
Hi, everybody, it's DJ, and I'm gonna tell you what should be on your pull list this week. Event fever is in the air. DC Comics is releasing their first big event for the New 52, Forever Evil. The bad guys are taking over, and DC's releasing a slew of one-shots focused on your favorite baddies. If you can't pick up all the bad guy comics this week, and let's face it, who can? The one I recommend is Batman 23.1, The Joker, because it's the Joker. DC Comics isn't the only one with those event goggles on. Marvel's releasing the second issue of their big universe-spanning event, Infinity, which includes everybody. They're also releasing their big X-Men crossover, X-Men Battle of the Atom #1. You don't even have to wait another week for the second chapter of that. It comes out this week as well in all new X-Men #16. If you're looking for some lighter fare, if you're a Batman fan, I recommend checking out Batman Black and White #1. Features the best writers and artists tackling your favorite Dark Knight, all in black and white. And finally, for my pull of the week, Trillium 2. Trillium is written and drawn by Jeff Lemire. It's a giant space saga that deals with time travel and romance, and it's just the perfect example of prose and pictures merging together to make a beautiful work of art. So that's what should be on your pull list this week. Please hit us up on Twitter and let us know what you're picking up next week, and we'll include you in this little ticker down below. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, or you can click this annotation for the rest of our stories. My name is DJ, and we look forward to seeing you again